What's going on, everybody? It's AquaLeaderJesse back again with another Some Call Me Johnny reaction. This time we have SGB review Mortal Kombat 1 and 2. I think he's since gone back and re-reviewed these as well, so I don't think I've seen the original one of this. I know he's at least reviewed other Mortal Kombat games. Oh, he's got an intro now. Godzilla Final Wars is a goated movie. I love that movie. Burning a copy of Big Rigs, man.
Back in the days when the arcade was pretty much the Garden of Eden for gamers, fighting games were the dominant genre that people will always willingly spend ridiculous amounts of quarters on.
I I've said for a long time, whenever I own a house, one of the absolute necessities that I want to get is an arcade cabinet, and I'd prefer it either be a beat 'em up or a fighting game, so I can have two people play it at once. I think I want to be the person that's just got the coolest basement for the family. Whenever we have family gatherings, the kids will love to play in the basement, play on the arcade cabinet, and all that. That's what I want.
I myself only remember so much of it, but I could never forget the first time I set my eyes on Mortal Kombat back in 1992.
I'll also clarify I'm more of a Tekken guy. Um, Tekken was my fighting game growing up. I'm terrible at most fighting games, but Tekken is one I can beat the story mode of Tekken games. And there's a campground we used to camp at over the summers, and they had a little arcade room. It had like maybe 5 cabinets in it, but one of them was Tekken 2, and I would play the shit out of that.
I was only 5
King was my man.
years old at the time, but how could one forget after seeing something like this? The answer? You don't. Mortal Kombat was different from its competitors with its digitized graphics, simplified combat, and that it was American. But what was most famous for was its high level of violence. I can safely assume every fighter in this series has a severe bleeding disorder because everyone bleeds buckets upon impact of almost every attack. But it doesn't end there. The amount of blow was high, but the fatalities turned it up to 11. Unique to Mortal Kombat was the ability to finish your opponent off after defeating him or the unlikely her in 2 rounds. This can range from completely incinerating your opponent to ripping their head right out of their goddamn shoulders. Satisfying.
Taking the spine with it.
This game caused many an uproar and in part led to the creation of the ESRB, also known as the Entertainment Software Rating Board. That's an honor in my book. How many video games of today do something like that? The copious amounts of violence and death in Mortal Kombat was very unsettling to a lot of parents out there, and often wanted the complete obliteration of the game, but come on, that's what made the game so good in the first place.
The game itself features 7 playable characters, each with their own backstory and reason for entering the tournament, but if you're like me, you couldn't give two shits about the story and just wanted to proceed with humiliating your competition.
And I guess in Mortal Kombat you can make that claim, but I care about the Tekken story. I like to see the story of the Mishima bloodline and all that.
There's Johnny Cage, a fighter based on the likeness of Jean-Claude Van Damme, but I don't know, he kinda looks like Nicolas Cage to me. Kano, a mercenary, Raiden, a thunder god, Liu Kang, who loves to shout, Scorpion, the badass Spectre, Sub-Zero, the ice ninja, and Sonya, the aerobics instructor. If you're playing single player, the goal of the game is to reach Shang Tsung, the host of the tournament. Along the path, you'll face every combatant, including yourself, endurance matches, mini-games that require button mashing, and Goro, who many think should have been the last boss of the game. Now, unless you know how to exploit the game's AI, the computer will kick your ass. I cannot tell you
Yeah,
how
as I
many
said, I'm
times I
terrible
lost
at
the
these.
computer. It can be so cheap. Now, it's not so bad when you begin, but just after the 3rd match is when things get so ridiculous. Opponents are able to block and counterattack on a split second's notice, and sometimes they can do things that are impossible for a human player to do. Well, at least I think it's impossible for a human player to do.
If you're able to be single player using only one life, then you are truly a force to be reckoned with, or you're just some hacker.
Personally, the first Mortal Kombat wasn't all that appealing to me in terms of gameplay. It felt clunky to me sometimes, especially when performing the uppercut. I grew up playing the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis version, which were okay, but always felt a bit underwhelming.
I'm not a huge fan of the first Mortal Kombat either. I do have the what's the collection they just released like last year. I have that on the Switch too. Because I do have respect for them, and I do do like the Mortal Kombat 2 more than 1, but I am terrible at them. I'm gonna be honest.
The arcade version is the true experience, and I recommend that version above all. Now, if only it had the Genesis soundtrack. That music was awesome. It wasn't until the sequel, Mortal Kombat 2, was released when I truly fell in love with the series. Sort of.
Mortal Kombat 2 hit the arcades in 1993 and is considered to be the best in the series. Mortal Kombat 2 took everything that made Mortal
What is it with fighting game series and the second game usually being like the best? I know that's or at least accepted as the best. I know that happens around a lot of gaming, not just in fighting games, but I feel like almost every fighting game franchise, the second game is like the most beloved. You got Mortal Kombat 2, Street Fighter 2, Tekken 2, Soul Calibur 2, Super Smash Bros. Melee. I feel like it's always the second one, because the first one's got the great idea, and then the second one takes the feedback on the first game and uses it to perfect it, I suppose.
Kombat good and expanded it even further. The game now hosts 12 characters with new faces being Baraka, fake face, Jax, the muscle-bound soldier, Kitana, princess, I guess, Kung Lao, Melina, and Reptile, a hidden opponent from the first game, now given his own moveset. The soundtrack is much better. The violence is as over the top as ever, and the fatalities are even sweeter. There's also the secret opponents known as Jade, Smoke, and Noob Saibot, but I'll let you get your butt whooped by them to let you know how awesome they are.
I forgot Noob was in the series this early.
In addition to having a much cleaner look, gameplay is much smoother than the original. Every move and combo is just as satisfying as the last. I can't really put my finger on it, but everything about this game just feels right to me. Characters now contain 2 fatalities in addition to friendships and babalities, alternate ways to finish your opponent without actually killing them. In some way, having a friendship or babality performed on you can be more humiliating than being killed. Stage fatalities also return, though now it's not just limited to the pit. Single player is just as cheap as ever. In fact, I actually think it's worse in this game, being there's more characters and such. You really need to play it to understand just how frustrating the computer can be. Words can only do so much. If there's a low point in this game, it's the single player. But Mortal Kombat 2 really shines in the multiplayer department. The good times I have when playing this with my brothers or my friends are too much to count, and it continues to this day.
If you're looking for a great 2D fighter, then do yourself a favor and get Mortal Kombat 2. It's definitely worth it.
Next time we look into the third installment of the franchise and sleep into the 3D department, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 and Mortal Kombat 4.
And now, it is time to rate the fatalities.
Okay. Raiden always has some cool fatalities. I love that fatality. That's one of my favorites. Yeah, that doesn't even look like a fatality. It just looks like a regular move. I love that one too. I feel like this video is going to get age restricted. Pretty solid. Oh, okay. That's sick. I'm not a huge fan of that soul stealing one, to be honest. It discombobulated him. That one also looks like a regular move. I'm not as interested in that one. There are a lot of fatalities, holy cow. Loving memory of Reptile. May whatever is left of him find peace in the nether realm. Oh, I guess that's it. Alright, well, yeah, I'm not as big of a Mortal Kombat fan as he is. It's just not my thing, but I do appreciate it, and it still can be fun, of course. Thank you everybody for watching. Remember to follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/AquaLeaderJesse, where all my videos are recorded first, but they'll always be uploaded here afterwards. Do not worry. Thank you for watching. Catch you in the next one. Goodbye.